Welcome back. A billionaire and heir to the Bounce House fortune, Frank Scurlock is announcing his candidacy for president of the United States. And with us to tell us more about the campaign is Frank himself. So, Frank, it's great to have you here today.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate being on the show.
So let's just start with kind of an overall view. So what is the main message of your campaign?
Well, it's number one, independence is what we're all about, and I'm representing the independent party. I'm a small businessman. My father actually, ironically, invented the bouncy castle, the little thing you jump up and down on, and he did that basically in my birth year. I started work at 12. I retired the first time at 40. I expanded from one location to over 400. I've had contracts with major corporations from Ace, True Value, Do It Best. When Katrina hit my hometown, which is New Orleans, where we were making everything in the United States, when Katrina hit, I had contracts with 50,000 retail stores. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? Well, sadly, FEMA at the time was paying my employees more money to stay home than to work. So I had to learn the overseas market. So I flew to Hong Kong, flew to China, figured out how to make, and we made them, and we survived. Mm-hmm. I learned over there that while import-export relations is good, I realized that everybody in America that could, because the dollar was so critical and they were trying to sharpen their pencils, we basically sold our souls. And I said, we got to stop this or we're going to kill America itself, which is kind of the message of how I ended up running for president of the United States.
So how would you do things differently? Would you revamp the tax code? What about trade? I mean, there's so many different kind of things. How would you change things differently than what President Trump has done?
Well, first off, let's talk about the one item that affects everybody. When you are born, basically, or you sign up, you get a Social Security number. And that number is not a number that they can identify and send you a birthday card or anything. It's actually kind of just the opposite. It's a number that they can say, you owe us. So they start taking from you. They figure out a way to tax you. And I hate to use the analogy, but kind of tax you to death. So I sat there, and being the spiritual person, in both the Old Testament and the New Testament, I believe in the tithing system, which is what God asked everybody to give, but 10%. That's called the first fruit. And so I said, let's design a flat tax system that's 10%, nothing more, nothing less. So what we've done is we've also set up in our tax plan that we can allow 10% redirection and donation to an authentic nonprofit. And what an authentic nonprofit means, one who actually has to do community service stuff. I'm proposing that we actually, as a government, pay to the American consumer or anybody that wants to a 10% return compounded annually. So in 6.5 to 7 years, they're going to double that money.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a couple of really interesting points. So one is financial literacy, which we don't teach in the schools anymore. And I think we have suffered as a country because of that greatly. I think it led to the financial crisis that we saw. I think, it's leading to kind of this idea of government has unlimited money, and we can rely on the government to help. And so, and just how we spend and are so seduced by spending and having this certain kind of lifestyle. So I think that's one thing. And then also, so the 10%. So I was curious, if you crunch the numbers on that, would you have to do an audit of government and figure out what things could be cut in order to have a 10% tax rate?
The reality is we have to take out that giant red reset button and go boom and say, let's figure out what's needed. Obviously, we have the military is one system that not only needs to work, it is working. Our postal service, if we can't figure that out, God help us. We all need to get our mail and transportation. And when you have other services that are not paying taxes like Amazon, and yet they're building their own fleet to hurt the government, something's wrong.
Okay, so finally, so you're running as an independent, right? So you
correct.
Okay, so why did you choose that way? It's more difficult. Have you had trouble getting traction? And then why independent versus one party or the other?
Our economy is going to be suffering long after the virus is gone. We all know that. The economy today is suffering, and I'm never call it life support. because it's just basically almost dead. There's a few people that have a little bit left, but there's a lot of people that have nothing left. So at the end of the day, we're going to teach people to do more with less. This goes back into John F. Kennedy saying, ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country? And we need to have new programs. I was at Rockefeller Center last night because I'm currently in New York Center, and that whole facility was built during the Depression.
Right. Yeah. Provided a bunch of jobs.
And we need not only, let me mention on trade, by the way. So we shut down all of my offshore operations, brought it back. We have factories that I own, Louisiana, Ohio, and other states. The inflatable business, the recreation business, home base is going through the roof. We know how to have fun. We're going to teach America not only to be physically responsible, but also to enjoy life. Sadly, you think some of the things that our government using to go whenever they have a shutdown is they shut down the national parks. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, if you've gone to a park, they really just are there to take pennies from you and say, good luck. There's really nothing more than nature. But at the end of the day, that's really all we need. And so it's a simplicity plan. It doesn't have to be complicated. But hey, the best thing out of the pandemic is getting to spend quality time with people's family. And that's really what New Orleans is based on, and really what I think the whole United States need to get back into the spirituality of it all.
Okay, Frank, thank you so much for coming on. Interesting, and best of luck with your ideas. I mean, there's so many Americans that care about the future of the country, and so I appreciate your ideas and helping us.
Yeah, if I could say Scurlock2020.com is our website. That's Scurlock, my name, 2020.com.
All right, thanks, Frank.
All right, take care. God bless.